Welcome, board members. The boardroom is open once again, and today on Shelf Talk, we're talking about Smash Up, the shuffle building game of total awesomeness by Paul Peterson, published by AEG. Smash Up is all about factions that are fighting over control of bases that are going to give you victory points that lead to your victory. At its core, Smash Up is all about the factions, crazy factions, cyborg apes, wizards, ghosts, ninjas, mad scientists, killer plants, ants, aliens, and more. Like, there's a ton of factions, like dozens and dozens of factions, plenty of expansions for this game. You take each faction, or you pick two factions rather. Each faction has 20 cards. Take the two factions of your choice, smash those two 20 cards decks together, completing a 40 card deck. Use that deck of cards to start fighting over bases. So let's look at the table, check out some of the cards, and see how the game is played. So as mentioned before, in Smash Up, you pick two factions. I've got a few factions here that I'm showing: steampunks and mad scientists and fairies and cyborg apes. So we'll take steampunk and fairies, for example. Shuffle these decks together, completing one 40-card deck. We'll take some cyborg and mad scientist, shuffle that together, thus completing another 40-card deck. This particular setup, I have 4 bases out. That's the setup for 3 players. You take the number of players plus 1, and you deal those number of bases base up. During your turn, you're allowed to play 1 minion and 1 action card. That's it. If the minion or action card allows you to play an extra minion or an extra action, then you get to play those subsequently as well. And even if it's not your turn, sometimes you get things on your cards that say that you can affect other players' turns. Those go in player turn order, starting with the active player. So you play a minion. When you play a minion, you play a minion to a base. You don't just play them anywhere willy-nilly. So let's just play this Igor here from the Mad Scientists, and we'll play him to the Ninja Dojo, for example. Then the player plays their action card, whatever it may be. Then you check for scoring. How you check for scoring is each base has a threshold number right here. For the ritual site, it's 20. For the Ninja Dojo, it's 18. If the strength of all minions from all players' factions equal or exceed 18, you kind of pause the round and score the base. And you score all the bases where that matters. So in this particular instance, the Ninja Dojo has a threshold of 18. Igor's only strength of 2, so that base wouldn't score. If, however, at the end of the round, this was the way the Ninja Dojo looked, you'd see that the fairy steampunks have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the mad scientists cyborg apes have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, thus 21 meeting and exceeding the threshold. Whoever has the most strength at the base gets first place. Whoever has second highest strength gets second place. And if the third player was there and they had the least amount of strength, they'd get the third place prize. So in this particular unique instance for the Ninja Dojo, the Mad Scientist player would get 2 points for first place, and the Fairy Steampunks would get 3 points for second place. So you got to check those scoring mechanisms: 4-2-2, 2-3-2, 3-3-2, and 2-0-0 to make sure that you're in the right spot to get the most points for each base. Once you score a base, discard all of your minions played at that base into your discard pile. Then complete whatever this says. After this base scores, the winner may destroy any one minion. You may destroy any one minion. It's not just at this base. If there are other minions that are gumming up the works for you to help score other bases, you can destroy those minions as well. But only one. Remember, the first player to 15 points triggers the end game, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Once a base is scored, it's discarded, and a new base shows up in the lineup. This one is the homeworld, which says after each time a minion is played here, its owner may play an extra minion of power 2 or less. So although it has a high threshold of 23, you can play many minions, 2 per turn, as long as that second minion is power 2 or less. So you can get to that 23 pretty quickly. After you've played your minion for the turn, and you've played your action for the turn, and you've checked for scoring, then you draw 2 cards, keeping only 10 or less, If you have more than 10 after you've drawn those 2 cards, you have to discard down to 10. Then play passes to the player to your left. You keep doing that until those 15 points are awarded. Like I said in the intro, Smash Up is all about the factions. Take a look. I don't have all of the expansions, but this row right here is just some of the different factions. Let's take a look. We've got Geeks, Shapeshifters, Time Travelers, Super Spies, Mythic Horses, Bear Cavalry, Dinosaurs, Zombies, Robots, Killer Plants, Tricksters, Ninjas, Wizards, Ghosts, Pirates, Vampires, Giant Ants, Werewolves, Aliens, Kitty Cats, Princesses, and Minions of Cthulhu and Elder Things. So there's tons of different factions here. This section here is the Smash Up Munchkin expansion. I didn't mess too much with that, and I'll talk about that in my final thoughts. So that's about it for Smash Up. It's a quick game. You just throw 2 factions together. The crazier the combination, the better. I find that Dinosaurs and Bear Cavalry work really well together. They're very strong in my opinion. Robots work really well together, and robots and plants worked really well together. And wizards, zombies, don't ever let anybody run that combo against you. It could get really, really bad. Wizards pull stuff out of the discard pile. Zombies come back from the dead out of the discard pile. It gets pretty crazy pretty fast. So I mentioned in short the Smash Up Munchkin expansion. I bring this up only for the following reason. A lot of the games that I'm going to talk about in Shelf Talk have some expansions, and those expansions are almost different games in and of themselves. Where Smash Up, all the expansions play really, really well together, and you could just buy them and play them out of the box. If you had the core set, you could just buy any expansion set, and if you knew how to play, you could just play with just the expansion set. In my opinion, though, except for Munchkin, Munchkin has some different rules. It adds monsters that get spawned into the locations, and there are treasure cards that you can find. And it's not that it's not a good game. It doesn't smash well with base Smash Up. And again, this is just my opinion. It didn't feel like Smash Up. It felt like trying to add a Munchkin flavor to what was already a pretty good game, in my opinion. I didn't think it was necessary. Maybe if they just wanted to add the art, they could have included those factions into Smash Up. But the downside is this. If you just try to add some of those factions to your regular core game of Smash Up, some of the cards will be not less powerful, but kind of, because they'll have abilities on them that A, other people won't have access to because it's part of the Munchkin-only expansion. And B, you might feel slighted because if you don't include everything else from the Munchkin expansion, for example, score a base that has monsters in it, well, if no bases come up that have monsters on them, then that card is useless. It's kind of weird. That said, Smash Up is a really fun game. It's a great primer to your game night. If maybe you're waiting on a couple more players to show up and you have a few players or a couple players already at the house or wherever you're meeting to play, you can bust out Smash Up, play a round, or even it's something you can even stop halfway through a round if everybody ends up showing up and you want to get a bigger, more heavier game to play that night. It works out just fine for that. Smash Up is a great game. The setup is ridiculously easy. You pick 2 factions, shuffle them together, your deck is ready, as is all your opponents. Then you take the deck of bases, shuffle it, and draw the number of players plus 1 onto the table and play the game. It's a quick start. It's a quick cleanup. Those 2 things, by the way, for me, are huge. I don't like big setup, and I don't like big takedown. There are some games that have easy setup, but then tearing it down is tough because you have to separate and sort and all that. Smash Up's made that really easy. Since I'm on that topic, on all the cards, you can see at the bottom, there's a little icon, and this is the Mad Scientist icon. And then you can see here the ape icon at the bottom. So you just sort your deck by that icon, and you've already resorted your cards. It's a great game. I recommend playing it. It's super fun. It's not super expensive, and it's not hard to learn. That's Smash Up on today's episode of Shelf Talk. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll catch you at the next boardroom meeting.